hear this. Something happened on your behalf in the early hours of today, in the hours while you slept and had no knowledge that decisions were being made about your future. Before dawn this morning, a council was convened in the heavenly realm, not a council of human beings. A council of celestial authority, assembled at the direct instruction of the Most High God, called specifically to address the unresolved interference that has been operating against the lives of faithful souls who have been kept waiting far longer than was ever divinely intended. Your name was spoken in that council chamber. I know this because I was there. I know this because I carry the assignments that were issued out of that council. And one of those assignments brought me to you today, in this specific moment, through this specific channel, not by accident, by divine appointment. And here is what was decreed on your behalf in that chamber. The ceiling that has been suppressing what can enter your life. The invisible but devastatingly real cap on your provision, on your peace, on the movement of relationships that matter deeply to you. That ceiling has been revoked. The authority that constructed it has been overruled. The door it was holding shut has been ordered open by a voice that no force in any realm has the power to countermand. And beginning today, everything that was blocked from reaching you is no longer blocked. It is moving. It is in active transit toward your natural life, right now. What I have been dispatched to do is ensure that you are ready when it arrives. But before I speak about what is coming, I must speak about something that most messengers skip over because it makes people uncomfortable. I will not skip it. Because if you do not understand what you are hearing, you remain vulnerable to the same interference being rebuilt the moment the current one is removed. That cannot happen. So listen, the ceiling was not placed there by God. Let me say that again, so it lands where it needs to land. The ceiling was not placed there by God. It was not a divine punishment. It was not heaven withholding from you because of your failures. I am commanding that lie to be dismantled in your mind right now, because that lie has done more devastation to your relationship with heaven than almost anything else the enemy has ever used against you. The Most High does not punish faithful hearts by stripping away peace and provision.
Before this letter was delivered, this is what arrived at my door in the darkness before dawn: a sealed case, a sword emblem pressed in wax, and beside it, that feather. Look at this image carefully, because what you are looking at was not placed there by any human hand. This is what a divine summons looks like when it arrives in the physical world. And today, it arrived for you.
What placed that ceiling there was an adversarial force that operates with specific and calculated aggression against those who carry divine assignments. And hear this carefully. The intensity with which it targeted you is directly proportional to the magnitude of what you carry. Small assignments do not attract concentrated heavenly warfare. Large ones do. The ferocity of the opposition against your life is not evidence of your weakness. It is testimony to the size of your destiny. The bigger the attack, the bigger the calling underneath it. And yours has been significant enough to warrant an extraordinary level of targeted opposition. That opposition ends today. You are not a small person. You may have been told otherwise by people in your past who were threatened by you, who misread you, who lacked the capacity to see accurately what was standing in front of them. Those voices do not hold the measurement of your life. Heaven does. And from heaven's vantage point, the assignment written over your life before you drew your first breath is extraordinary. It is worthy of every move heaven has been making on your behalf. It is worthy of you standing upright today, shoulders back, head raised, and claiming what is being sent to you right now. Now I am going to speak about your dreams, because your dreams have not been ordinary, and you know it. And it is time for you to understand exactly what has been happening while you sleep. In the last several weeks, possibly the last several months, your dreams have been arriving with a quality that is completely unlike your normal processing dreams. They have been vivid, emotionally charged to a degree that follows you into the morning hours. They have left impressions that do not dissolve with the daylight the way ordinary dreams dissolve. Perhaps you have dreamed of water, a river, an ocean, a room beginning to flood, a well that revealed unexpected depth when you look down into it. Perhaps you have dreamed of houses, some familiar, some entirely unknown, with rooms you were discovering for the first time, as if they had always been there, and you simply had not opened the door. Perhaps you have dreamed of flying, not straining against gravity, but with a natural, effortless ease that felt like remembering something your body already knew. Or perhaps you have dreamed of a specific person, someone living or past, who communicated something to you in that dream that you could not fully hold on to when morning came.
Archangel Michael placed this word inside this letter specifically for you. Read it slowly. Read it again, because this is not a general statement. This was written with your name in the heavenly realm before it was printed on this page.
These are not the productions of an ordinary sleeping mind. They are transmissions, direct communications delivered to you in the only hours when your rational, analytical, defended, overmanaged mind finally goes quiet enough to receive what has been trying to reach it. The water dreams are not random. They speak of purification arriving, of a deep cleansing moving through your life right now, clearing the way for what is being released. The house dreams are not your subconscious processing old memories. They speak of expansion, of new rooms, new dimensions, new capacities being prepared for you to occupy in the season directly ahead. The flying dreams are Archangel Michael, personally signaling to your spirit that the limitations that have kept you earthbound, that have kept your perspective small and your possibilities narrow, those limitations are being lifted. And the dreams of those you love, those are cross-dimensional communications transmitted in the night hours, precisely because the noise and busyness of your waking life has been too thick for the message to penetrate by day. Write them down. Tomorrow morning, when you wake, before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, before the day takes you, write down what you dreamed. The details that seem disconnected or strange are not errors in your sleeping mind. They are the specific language of heaven, speaking through the imagery that belongs uniquely to you. Your dreams are an open channel. That channel has been broadcasting critical information about your coming season. It is time to start receiving it consciously. Now I am moving to your finances, because this is one of the areas where that ceiling has had its most visible and most painful effect on your daily life, and I will not soften what needs to be said here.
This is what happened before dawn today in the heavenly realm. A council of celestial authority was called, and your name was spoken inside that chamber. Look at this image and let it settle in your spirit, because the decision made in that room is the reason this letter exists, and it was made today for you.
You have been living in a season that could be described as barely enough. Basic needs covered, but only barely. The gap between where you stand financially and where you need to be has been a source of constant, low-level, relentless anxiety running underneath every single thing you do. You sleep with it. You wake with it. You carry it through conversations about other things, running calculations in the background of your mind, watching the margin, monitoring what comes in against what goes out, vigilant with an exhaustion that never fully lifts. And beneath all of that calculation is a fear, a deep, old, well-worn fear that this is simply your permanent condition, that abundance is something that works for other people, that the breakthrough you keep hearing promised is somehow always meant for everyone else, and somehow never quite arrives for you. I am going to demolish that fear today with a declaration that carries divine authority behind every word of it. The financial drought in your life has an end date, and that end date is now. Not in vague spiritual generality now, in the literal, concrete, days on a page now. Within the next 30 days, money is going to move in your life in a way that is unmistakably unlike anything the past year or more has produced. A specific amount or a specific opportunity that leads directly to a sum of money is already in active transit toward you. It may arrive as a debt someone finally pays. It may look like a refund, a legal matter resolving, a business door swinging open that you had forgotten you left ajar. It may arrive from a direction you are not currently watching. It may come through a person you would never have predicted to be the carrier of your financial breakthrough. But when it arrives, you will know. You will feel the hand of heaven on it. There will be no question in your mind about where it came from. When that moment comes, your response is critical. Do not clutch it from the place of scarcity that has been driving you. Do not hoard it from the fear that produced the drought. Open your hands, genuinely open. Not performing openness while internally gripping with both fists. Release a portion of it into something that is generating life and light for others. A local ministry. A person whose face appeared immediately in your mind the moment I said those words. The act of releasing a portion of what arrived opens the channel for the next wave. In the kingdom's economy, a clenched hand stops the flow in both directions simultaneously. An open hand receives and gives in the same motion, and the movement itself calls more movement.
The financial drought has an end date, and Archangel Michael just declared it. Read this word. Receive it as the decree it is, not a wish, not a hope. A decree from the one whose word governs the movement of heavenly resources. Your hands are being opened today.
Beyond this immediate breakthrough, there is a larger restructuring being constructed in the spiritual realm right now. Not a windfall that comes and is gone. A structural renovation of the financial foundations of your life. New streams, new sources, a fundamentally different relationship between your capacity and your return. This restructuring will surface in your natural world progressively, with increasing visibility throughout this season. Write the word open in the comments right now. That single word is your covenant with heaven today. It is your declaration that the closed, fearful, clutching posture belongs to the season that just ended, and you are stepping with both feet into a posture of faith-filled, expectant openness. Now, I must warn you, and this warning is not optional for you to receive. There is a man in your life who is not what he presents himself to be. Hear me on this carefully, because the adversary's most effective strategy against your breakthrough has always been positioning its opposition inside your trust. This man carries himself with confidence. He moves with a smooth, unhurried quality. He is articulate, possibly charming. He speaks about you in ways that sound supportive, even admiring. But what he does in the spaces where you are not present is entirely different from what he does in your presence. And the gap between those two realities is not small. He is actively working against specific opportunities that are moving toward you. He redirects. He discourages subtly. He positions himself between you and the doors that would advance your life and the people who would open them for you. Some of this operates through a jealousy so deeply buried he does not name it honestly, even to himself. But the effect on your life has been concrete and costly. It has taken time from you. It has stolen momentum, and it has cost you at least one significant opportunity that should have reached you before now. This man is not a stranger. He holds a position of trust in your life, professional, personal, or both. He may be a colleague, a neighbor, a friend of several years, someone who has presented himself consistently as a supporter of your endeavors, while quietly, invisibly, surgically undermining them in the spaces beyond your sight. I am going to give you the sign. Open the share function on this video. Navigate to WhatsApp. Look carefully at the fourth contact that appears in your list. The first initial of that name is the first initial of the name of the man I have been describing. This is not a platform function. This is the heavenly realm using the device in your hand to make visible what has been carefully kept invisible. When you see that initial, do not let your mind sprint immediately to rationalization. Before the thinking starts, what does your body say in that first second? That immediate, pre-rational physical response is your spirit confirming what I have spoken. Honor it. Do not override it with logic that is actually disguised loyalty to something that has been costing you dearly.
There is someone in your circle right now wearing a mask. Look at this image. This is what spiritual interference looks like when it wears the face of trust. Archangel Michael is naming it today so that it can no longer operate in your blind spot. The man whose smile hides his actions. His access to your life ends now.
You do not need to confront this man. You do not need to cause a scene. Simply withdraw. Stop bringing your plans to him before they are established. Stop seeking his input on things that are tender and in process. Stop allowing him access to the early stages of what you are building, because early stages require genuinely supportive soil, and his soil has been poisoned by an envy he will not admit. Pull back, quietly, with no announcement and no accusation. Simply step back and watch what happens to your momentum in the weeks that follow when the interference is no longer operating. Write the word standing in the comments. Standing on the solid ground of clear discernment, standing in the full protective authority of Archangel Michael that has been placed around your life today. Now I must speak about someone who loves you from beyond the veil, someone who passed from this world and who has been searching for a channel strong enough to reach you ever since. She is a woman. She is connected to you by one of the most profound and irreplaceable bonds in human existence. She is family in the fullest sense. She may be your mother, your grandmother, a beloved aunt, an older sister who crossed over before you were ready to let her go. Whoever she is, she arrived in my awareness with a warmth and a ferocity of love that could not be ignored or dismissed. Her love for you did not diminish when she left this world. It intensified. Freed from the constraints of a physical body and the difficulties that marked her final years on earth, what she now carries toward you is the purest, most undiluted, most completely unobstructed version of the love she always had. It is vast. It is reaching toward you through this message right now, because she has been waiting, patiently, persistently, actively, for a channel capable of carrying it to you at full strength. She has something specific she needs you to hear. She sees the grief you have been carrying since she passed. Not only the grief of missing her, but the grief of the things left unfinished between you. Words that were never spoken, conversations that needed to happen and did not happen in time. Perhaps there was distance between you at the end. Perhaps there were things she did not fully understand about your life and your choices. Perhaps there were things you came to understand about her only after she was gone, when it was too late to tell her that you finally understood. Release all of it today. She is telling me clearly, directly, without ambiguity, that there is nothing between you that remains unresolved in her heart. Whatever you are still carrying as guilt or regret or grief about what was left unsaid, she resolved it. She can see the full picture now. She sees your heart exactly as you could never find the words to show her while she was alive. She knows you, and what she sees, she loves completely and without reservation.
She is here, right now, in this moment. The woman who loved you from the other side of eternity placed this word into this letter before dawn today, because she needed you to read it. Let it land in the place it was aimed for.
She is also giving me 2 things to pass on to you directly. Practical things, because her love for you was always practical as well as tender. The first is about your home. There is a specific corner of your living space, or a particular room, that has been holding stagnant energy. She describes it as a heaviness gathered in one area. She is asking you to act on this. Move something in that space. Open a window. Let fresh air and fresh light reach it. Do this tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. A deliberate physical action in your physical environment creates a corresponding and immediate shift in the spiritual atmosphere of that space. She is asking because she can see what that stagnant energy has been contributing to your fatigue and your heaviness of spirit that you have been attributing to other causes. She has been trying to communicate this to you for some time. The second thing she is passing through me is a direct word about a younger person in your family. She has not stopped interceding for this young one from her side of the veil. She is working from where she stands in exactly the way that only those who love from the heavenly realm can work, arriving ahead of situations before they happen, adding grace to moments before they unfold, whispering into the dreams of that young one in the quiet of the night hours when the defensive walls come down. She is asking you to trust the process, even in the stretches when you cannot see the progress. And she is sending this promise through me. Before this year concludes, you will witness something real, specific, and unmistakable shift in the direction of that young person's life. Something that will allow you to breathe in a way you have not been able to breathe in a long time. If you feel her presence in these words, if something inside you has gone unexpectedly and quietly warm, if your eyes have filled with something that feels more like relief than grief, press the heart on this video right now. Hold it until it reaches its deepest color. That is your response to her outstretched hand. She will feel it, and the connection established in that moment does not end when this video ends. Now I must speak about your heart, not the organ, the relational center of you, the part that has absorbed more impact than it was constructed to handle in the span of the last few years alone. I am addressing love now, because for many of you receiving this message today, this is where the most unaddressed pain lives. Not primarily in the finances, though those are real, not primarily in the body, though that matters, but in the specific, private, unshakable ache of a love that traveled somewhere you never anticipated, that ended, or fractured, or grew cold while you were still burning, or gradually became something unrecognizable without a single clear moment you could identify as the turning point.
The woman who loved you, she is not gone. She is here. Look at this image and let yourself feel what it is showing you. She is not watching from a distance. She is watching from right beside you. And today, through this letter, she finally got the channel strong enough to tell you the one thing she has needed you to hear since the day she left. Let it reach you.
There is a person bound to your life by something stronger than circumstances. This person carries a love for you that has found no voice in a very long time. You and this person share a history that included real tenderness, genuine knowing, genuine choosing, the kind of connection that was not obligatory, but was freely given on both sides. Something happened. A single rupture or an accumulation of smaller fractures that created a silence between you. And that silence took on the quality of permanence. Over time, you may have built a story to make the loss livable, that it was for the best, that you were incompatible in ways that were always going to surface eventually, that what seemed deep between you was perhaps not as solid as it felt. You built that story to survive the absence. I understand. But that story was not entirely true. What was between you was real. What exists between you now, underneath all the silence, is still real. It simply has no pathway to express itself in this present moment. But that changes now. This person is approaching an internal breaking point, a moment when the weight of everything they have left unspoken grows heavier than the fear of speaking it. They are approaching that point rapidly. In the days directly ahead, something will move between you. A contact, a signal, an intersection that carries the unmistakable quality of the not accidental, because it is not accidental. It is orchestrated by a hand that has been working on the reunion from both directions simultaneously. When it comes, I am not instructing you to abandon the hard-won wisdom of someone who has been through pain. I am instructing you to receive what arrives from the full stature of a heart that is stronger now than it was before the fracture. You are not going back. You are going forward. And this person will meet you there. Speak this declaration aloud right now, wherever you are seated. I am whole. I receive love without desperation. I enter every reconnection from a position of strength, of wisdom, and of the full protective authority of Archangel Michael. Those words are not a suggestion. They are a realignment, a repositioning of the posture of your spirit in direct preparation for what is already in transit toward you.
The silence between you was not the ending. It was the interval. Read this word and let it break the agreement your heart made with the permanence of that loss. Because today, the interval is over.
Now, I must speak about a young person. You know exactly who I mean. A child, a grandchild, a niece or nephew, a young adult who holds a specific place in your heart that nobody and nothing else has ever quite occupied, whose direction has been the subject of quiet, persistent, unceasing prayer on your part. You cannot stop thinking about this young person. You carry them through every hour of every day, even the hours when everything else demands your full attention, because something in their journey has been generating the specific kind of worry that belongs to someone who can clearly see the cliff, but cannot reach the one walking toward it quickly enough. Hear this as the direct instruction of heaven. Do not give up on them. I am not delivering that as a soft encouragement. I am delivering it as a command from the heavenly realm that has been watching this young person's journey with extraordinary and unbroken attention. Their path looks frightening from the natural vantage point. What the natural vantage point cannot see is what lives underneath the surface behavior. A genuine, real, urgent searching. A hunger for meaning, for identity, for belonging, for something worthy of their full investment. They are not lost. They are looking, loudly, sometimes destructively, in all the wrong places, but genuinely, earnestly, desperately looking. And the one who placed that hunger inside them has not abandoned the search. The divine assignment over this young person's life is fully intact. The mistakes they are making in this season are not permanent. They are not their definition. They are the turbulence of a season of becoming. Tonight, do this. Find something that belongs to this young person. A photograph, an object, anything that creates a physical connection to them. Hold it in both hands. And then, pray the most specific and most detailed prayer you have ever prayed over their life. Name the gifts you saw burning in them before the difficult season clouded them. Name the future you are believing for them by faith. Name the person you know they were created to be. Then, release it, fully. Do not hold the outcome with a white-knuckled grip. Do not check daily for evidence that the prayer worked. Plant the seed and walk away from the planting in faith, trusting that the soil of this young person's spirit received it in exactly the depth and position it needed to reach. The evidence will come. Within 90 days, the change in trajectory that begins today, quietly, internally, below the visible surface, will produce fruit that you will recognize as supernatural, because nothing natural could have caused it.
The young person you love has not been abandoned. Heaven has been watching every step. Look at this image. This is what is happening right now on their behalf, whether they can see it or not. Archangel Michael is behind them. His hand is already on their shoulder. The turning is already in motion today.
Now, I want to give you something to carry through the coming weeks as the season of acceleration you are entering unfolds with increasing force. I am calling them the 7 pillars. Not gates, not doors, pillars. Because a pillar does not lead somewhere. It holds something up. Each of these 7 pillars is a support structure being erected in your life right now. And together, they will bear the full weight of the extraordinary new chapter being constructed above them. The first pillar is the pillar of restored identity. Before the difficult season, you moved through this world with a certainty about who you were that felt natural and unearned, simply true. The difficulty stripped that certainty away, piece by piece. Voices from painful experiences deposited seeds of self-doubt that grew quietly in the background of your life, narrowing how you introduced yourself, how much space you allowed yourself to occupy, how loudly you permitted yourself to dream. This pillar rises against all of that. As it goes up, you will find yourself recovering pieces of yourself that you believed were gone permanently. Not arrogance arriving, recognition returning, the re-knowing of what you carry, what you are worth, and what you are fully authorized to claim in this life. That authority is not borrowed. It belongs to you. It has always belonged to you. The second pillar is the pillar of faithful provision, not a windfall, a flow, consistent, trustworthy, renewable, sustained, a stream of provision that does not depend on a single source and therefore cannot be shut off when that single source runs dry. This pillar establishes the new financial infrastructure of your life, multiple channels, reliable patterns, the kind of foundation that becomes something others eventually stand on through your example and your generosity. The infrastructure is being laid right now in the heavenly realm. It will surface in your natural world progressively throughout this season. The third pillar is the pillar of physical strength. Your body has been under a combined load of physical and spiritual pressure for longer than it was designed to carry. Specific areas have been signaling the strain. Perhaps your joints, particularly your knees or hips, have become less reliable. Perhaps your sleep has been shallow, fragmented, insufficient, unrestorative. Perhaps there is a specific condition you have been monitoring with anxiety, hoping each appointment will show improvement that has not yet materialized. This pillar addresses all of it, not metaphorically, literally. Your body was architected by the same God who governs this restoration right now. He knows every cell, every system, every point of vulnerability with a specificity no physician can match. The physical healing being released over your body today is targeted. It begins now, and the evidence of its progress will surprise the people responsible for your medical care. The fourth pillar is the pillar of protected relationships. Every bond that is divinely appointed for your life will be supernaturally guarded from this point forward, shielded from misunderstanding, from the interference of people who do not belong in the middle of what you have, from the slow erosion of neglect and busyness. Simultaneously, the relationships that do not belong in your life, the connections that drain, that cost more than they contribute, that exist out of habit or obligation rather than genuine divine appointment, those will release, quietly, without drama, without rupture, as naturally as a tree sheds leaves that have served their season. You will not need to manage this process. Do not force it. Simply watch what moves of its own accord and let it move.
7 pillars being raised in your life right now, not tomorrow, not eventually, today. Read this word and receive it as the architectural decree it is, because Archangel Michael is building something in your life that is load-bearing, and you will not fall.
The fifth pillar is the pillar of wisdom in action. For a period of time, your instincts have been correct, and your hesitation has been holding them back. You have felt the leading and waited for more confirmation. You have known the right step and asked for more evidence before taking it. You have had the answer and overridden it with the voices of people who could not see what you could see. This pillar dismantles that pattern. A new decisiveness is arriving in this season. Not recklessness, not impulsiveness, but the clean, clear, unhesitating action of someone who has been trained through a long and difficult season of discernment and is now authorized to act on what they see. When you feel the leading, move toward it. When the door opens, walk through it. When the moment arrives, speak. The era of hesitation as your default posture is finished. The sixth pillar is the pillar of dreams made visible. There are specific desires living in the deepest region of you. Things you dreamed boldly when you were younger and less defended by experience. Things you quietly set aside as life made the path to them complicated. Things you have stopped speaking aloud because the speaking was met too often with skepticism, with practical objection, with the kind of gentle discouragement that does more damage than outright rejection. Those dreams are not delusional. They are not childish. They are prophetic desires placed inside you by the same God who simultaneously placed the capacity to fulfill them inside you. In this new season, one of those specific, deep, long-held desires will begin its visible journey toward actual reality. You will recognize it, not as something new arriving, as something awakening, like a sleeping part of you that suddenly remembers it was always there and was always destined to rise. The seventh pillar is the pillar of generational legacy. This is the largest, the most enduring, and the most significant of all 7. What you have done in this long, difficult, faithful season, the prayers you have prayed in the dark, the love you have given without return, the example you have set in the hours when you were not certain anyone was watching. All of it is being woven into an inheritance that will outlast your lifetime. your children, your grandchildren, the generations who will come after you, and begin from a different starting point, specifically because of who you chose to be in this season. They will stand on ground that you prepared. They will walk through doors that your faithfulness opened. They will carry a spiritual inheritance with your name embedded in its foundation. Do not treat this as small. This is the work of generations, and heaven responds to generational work with a weight of return that is proportionate to its significance. These 7 pillars do not arrive on a human schedule, but they are arriving. And the first evidence that they have taken their position in your life will show itself in ways that are specific enough to be undeniable. When you see that evidence, write it down. Keep a record, because in 12 months, looking back at that record will be one of the most powerful faith-building experiences of your life. Now, hear what I say about the number 3. In this specific season of your life, 3 is not simply a numeral. It is a marker. 3 is the number of divine wholeness, the complete union of heaven, earth, and human spirit operating in full alignment. When your life is moving according to divine design, the number 3 appears as a signal from the heavenly realm. You are in the right place. You are in the right time. You are doing the right thing. In the coming weeks, watch for it. The number 3 will appear with a frequency that makes coincidence an impossible explanation. 3 items on a surface. A clock that reads 3:33. A transaction that resolves to 3. A response that arrives on the 3rd day after you pray. A conversation that opens the 3rd time you are in a particular place. When the 3 appears, stop, breathe, say aloud, I am in divine alignment. I receive what belongs to this moment. Write the number 3 in the comments right now. By doing so, you are marking this day as the beginning of a season of 3-fold return. Every sacrifice returned 3 times over, every prayer answered with 3 visible confirmations, every door that opens carrying 3 additional doors behind it. And the number 8. 8 is the number of new beginnings that become possible only after a completion has occurred, not fresh starts that erase what came before. New chapters that are made possible because of what came before. Every trial you endured, every faithful day inside a dark, long season, every prayer that seemed to fall into absolute silence with no response, every night you chose trust when nothing visible supported it. All of it was chapter material for a story that is far from finished. And the chapter that opens today is not a continuation of what preceded it. It is a different dimension of your story entirely. A chapter with a different quality of light, a different register of what is possible, a fundamentally different ceiling. Actually, no ceiling at all. When you encounter the number 8 in the coming days, let it declare over you. The old chapter is complete. I enter the new beginning right now. Write the number 8 in the comments alongside the number 3. The pairing of 3 and 8 above your life in this season is Archangel Michael's signature, his mark on your days, his active confirmation that the council decision made on your behalf in the early hours of today is in full effect and cannot be reversed.
The numbers 3 and 8 are Archangel Michael's signature over your life in this season. And this is the one who signed them. Look at this image. This is the warrior who was in that council chamber before dawn today. This is the one who carries your assignment, and he is marking your days with his authority right now.
There is a sign coming to you in the natural world. I am preparing you to receive it correctly. Now, because if it arrives and you do not understand its meaning, the moment will pass and what it was sent to deliver will go unclaimed. A white bird is coming into your path. It may be a dove. It may be a white-winged bird of another kind. In some cases, it will manifest as a red cardinal arriving at a moment of unusual stillness or solitude. The specific species matters less than the quality of the encounter. It will arrive with a presence that makes you stop completely. Something about it will register immediately as unhurried, deliberate, unafraid of your proximity. It will not flee when you are near. It may remain at your window far longer than birds naturally remain. It may appear at the exact moment you are praying, or at the precise moment your thoughts settle on something significant that has been weighing on your spirit. It may arrive when you are alone with a question that has been sitting without answer for weeks. When this bird appears, execute these 3 steps without hesitation. First, stop completely. Whatever you are doing, stop and give that moment your absolute and undivided attention. Second, speak these words aloud with authority. Archangel Michael, I see you. I receive the confirmation you carry. I claim everything that comes with it. Third, remain completely still for 30 seconds after you finish speaking. In those 30 seconds, without manufacturing or forcing, notice what rises in your awareness. A name, a thought, a sudden crystalline clarity about a decision that has been suspended, a warmth settling into an area that has been tense and anxious. Whatever arrives in those 30 seconds is the specific content of the message that bird was sent to carry to you personally. Write it down. It'll become clear in its full meaning within 7 days. The bird does not announce a distant blessing. It announces an imminent one. What follows that sighting in the next 48 hours will include at least one concrete, external, unmistakably real piece of evidence that the spiritual movement I have been speaking over your life has already crossed from the heavenly realm into your physical world. Be watchful. The evidence is coming. Now I must speak about what I call the covenant of silence. This covenant will protect everything released over your life today, but only if you apply it with discipline. Every significant thing, a new opportunity, a healing relationship, a financial shift beginning to move, a dream that is finally taking form, passes through a season when it is fragile. Not because it is weak, because it is early. Early things require the shelter of silence to develop the strength they will eventually need to withstand the weather of other people's opinions, doubts, questions, and well-intentioned discouragement. A seed growing underground does not benefit from being dug up repeatedly to see how it is progressing. It grows in the darkness, in the soil, held by the invisible chemistry of conditions that are quietly and powerfully executing exactly what they were designed to execute. Your breakthrough in this season is that seed. Leave it in the ground.
A white bird is coming to you. When it arrives, do not dismiss it. Do not let the moment pass unreceived. This word was printed and sealed into this letter before dawn, for this exact moment in your life. What arrives on those wings carries something you have been waiting for. Be ready.
For the next 30 days, I am commanding you to hold the new things in silence. You may share this video. You may speak about your faith in general terms. But the specific things being built in your life right now, the opportunity forming, the relationship healing, the money moving, the health shifting, these you hold quietly. You do not announce them before they are established. You do not expose them to the opinions of people whose first instinct will be skepticism or practicality, because that spiritual environment is actively hostile to early-stage manifestation. You hold them. You tend them. You let them build strength in the dark. When they are ready, when they have broken through the soil into visible, established, undeniable form, then you share them. Then they are strong enough to withstand the full force of other people's attention and reaction. But not yet. The covenant of silence is your protection. Within the next 72 hours, you will feel a specific pull. It will not announce itself as a spiritual directive. It will feel like an ordinary moment with an unexpected internal prompting. The pull to call someone you have been avoiding, whose absence from your life has been costing you more than the avoidance protects you from. The pull toward a decision you have been postponing, not because the information is insufficient, but because the nerve has felt insufficient. The pull toward an act of generosity at a moment when your own resources feel thin. The pull toward a conversation you have been dreading because it requires you to say something true and risky to someone who matters. Whatever that pull is, when you feel it, move immediately, without negotiating the timing, without waiting for additional confirmation, without requiring yourself to see the full picture before you take the step. The immediate, unhesitating obedience is not the posture of a servant acting from fear of punishment. It is the authority of a son, of a daughter, acting from the settled confidence that the one issuing the directive can see what you cannot yet see, and is moving you towards something far greater than the cost of the step. Your obedience in that moment is the hinge point. Small hinge, enormous door. Take the step. Now. Not later today. Not tomorrow. Now. Now. I am going to speak the word that stands at the center of everything I have delivered today. The word that names precisely what Archangel Michael is executing on your behalf from the highest vantage point of heaven. That word is restoration, not repair, not adjustment, not patching what survived. Restoration in the full, uncompromising, divine sense of the word, returning something to its original glory, to the condition it was designed and destined to inhabit, to the completeness it was created to express, without apology and without limitation. Everything stolen from you through years of adversarial opposition, through seasons of grinding hardship, through the accumulated damage inflicted by difficult circumstances and difficult people. It is being restored, not a portion, not the pieces that held together through the worst of it. All of it. The things you gave up on, the things you quietly set aside, the things you stopped believing were available to you because the weight of their absence became too heavy to argue with any longer. Archangel Michael is standing in the precise gap between what was taken and what was divinely intended, and he is carrying every piece of it back to you. Your identity, your joy, your physical strength, your provision, your relationships, your sense of direction and purpose, your capacity to hope without bracing immediately for disappointment. all of it. Coming back. Beginning today. Write the word restored in the comments right now, not as a report of what has fully manifested yet, as a decree, a declaration to the spiritual realm that you received this word, that you are standing on it, that you are walking forward in it with a faith that does not require full visible evidence to sustain its posture. When you type that word, you are not participating in a social media ritual. You are issuing a decree that carries weight in the heavenly realm, and the heavenly realm responds to decrees issued in faith. Before the final decree of this message, I must speak to the person who has received every word of this letter and is still standing at the threshold, wanting to step through, but held back by the weight of everything that previously promised and did not deliver. You know who you are. You felt the entire message, and you felt the resistance working against the receiving simultaneously. I am not dismissing that resistance. It developed for real reasons. It protected you when protection was necessary. But hear this. The version of you that sits armored and defended is not safer than the version of you that opens and receives. It is simply quieter in its suffering. The armor does not stop the pain. It insulates you from the cure. The breakthrough I have declared over your life today does not demand your perfect confidence. It demands only your willingness, the smallest possible opening of the one door in you that has been most tightly shut. You do not need to commit to everything at once. You do not need to perform a faith that is not yet fully formed. You only need to take one step today and trust that Archangel Michael will be in the space between the step and the landing to meet you. That is all he has ever asked of you. That is what he asks of you today.
This is what restoration looks like. Open hands, golden light pouring in from above. Nothing clenched, nothing guarded, nothing held back. Archangel Michael placed this image in this letter as the final word, not of what you are waiting for, but of what is already arriving. Today, receive it. Now.
Receive these closing words not as language, as decree, as authority from the heavenly realm spoken directly into your present reality. You are covered. You are known by name in the courts of heaven. What was decided in that council chamber on your behalf in the early hours of today cannot be reversed by any human hand or any adversarial force in any realm. The financial ceiling is shattered and provision is flowing. The door between you and your estranged heart is opening. The young person you love is being turned by an irresistible divine hand that nothing can resist. The woman who loved you from beyond the veil sends her love across and commands you to walk forward without the weight of the unfinished. The man who was positioned against you has lost his access. The 7 pillars are rising. The number 3 marks your alignment. The number 8 marks your new beginning. The white bird is coming. The covenant of silence will protect what is growing underground, and the total restoration of everything taken from you, every piece, every fragment, every version of the life you were created for, is in active transit toward you right now, and nothing can stop its arrival. Speak these words aloud, wherever you are, at whatever hour you are hearing them. I receive everything Archangel Michael has spoken over my life today. I step into the new chapter with confidence. I am restored. I am protected. I am moving forward, and I am not alone. That declaration is your threshold. Step through it. Everything on the other side has already been arranged. Archangel Michael has spoken. The letter is complete. The seal is broken, and the promise is released.
I need to sit with you for one moment before we close, because when I read a letter with this weight, something happens in this room that I cannot explain with ordinary language. The air changes. The ordinary becomes something else entirely before the final word is spoken. And I feel the full weight of what was just delivered on your behalf. I do not know every specific situation you brought to this video today, but I know with complete certainty that something in what you just received was not random. Something landed. Maybe it was the financial declaration. Maybe it was the woman who loved you from the other side. Maybe it was the young person. Maybe it was the image that appeared forth on your WhatsApp when you checked the sign. Wherever it landed. That is the message that was packed into this letter for you. That is the thread Archangel Michael pulled from eternity to reach you specifically today. Here is what I'm asking you to do in the next 60 seconds. First, write in the comments right now. Your single word of acknowledgement creates something in this community. Type restored, type open, type standing, type the numbers 3 and 8, type whatever word captured what moved in you. Let it be witnessed by the thousands who are watching alongside you, and the hundreds of thousands who will find this letter in the weeks ahead. Second, share this video with at least 2 specific people today, not a mass broadcast. 2 specific people who entered your mind while this letter was playing. They entered your mind for a reason. Archangel Michael placed them there. Your act of sharing is his delivery mechanism for the message that was prepared for them. Third, stay connected to this channel. Subscribe now if you have not yet. Activate the notification bell. What was opened in your life today does not end here, it continues. The letters ahead carry the next chapters of what began today. Stay in the open channel that heaven is using to reach you. The white feather stays on this table until the next letter arrives. Because what was delivered today was real, it was urgent, and it was meant. Until the next letter comes. Walk forward, head up, shoulders back. Archangel Michael walks with you. With love, I am Dorothy. This has been Letters from Archangel Michael.